Massenomics.
Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
An hour.
We got 1 hour. That's actually probably not going to be an issue, unless I'm doing too much talking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Massenomics Podcast. I am Tyler. Next to me is Tommy.
What's up?
And over there is Tanner.
Hey, everybody.
I suppose we just dive right into the meat of the big announcement. Did we tease this last
Well,
week?
we said
end,
at the very end, twist ending, the season finale.
But that was like literally post...
I mean, it was as late as you could go, I think.
It was like, follow us on Facebook. Oh, by the way...
The robot lady was probably starting to talk.
Huge announcement.
So you might not have heard it.
Our Australian robot lady. So the big announcement is this will be my last episode
As a male.
As a man. As a man who is
not locked up.
Who is the host of the Massenomics Podcast. I like how this turned into my own personal new gender reveal. But so I am actually, I don't even know, we've teased at some like transitions I think that are going on, not genital wise, but about like teasing about me moving out of my house.
I think generally on the podcast, though, if you're just a podcast listener, you probably don't know what's going on.
Probably
really,
not, unless you follow us on Instagram kind of deep. But so the situation is Tanner and I just fucking hate each other.
Knock down, drag out.
I mean, we vandalize each other's homes at night.
I'm in the middle of this. I've seen it.
The other day, I was in the Tyler squat rack in the gym, and he came in and said, 5 minutes. And I didn't move, so he threw the 45-pound plate at me.
I will be actually... I've sold my house.
Do we have to tell people that this isn't the joking part now?
This is the real part. Yeah, this actually is the real part. Yep.
You sold the Massenomics studio.
Sold the Massenomics studio out from under
But we're still in it.
We're still in it today. We have, by the time you're hearing this, I've got about 3 days left in the home. So we sold the house. We've sold my business. We've sold literally everything that I own. And my family and I are moving to Vienna in Austria. And I'll be working for Julian Pinot and the rest of the team at StrongFit.
Packaging Vienna sausages.
Just packaging sausages. Same gig I've always been doing, just packing meat. But so I'll be working for StrongFit full time, doing like kind of a laundry list of things. But some coaching, some business coaching, some media stuff, some interview stuff.
Can you explain the StrongFit thing a little bit for people that maybe don't have?
Yeah, so StrongFit is the organization is kind of spearheaded by Julian Pinot, who we've had it 2 or 3 times on, couple times
2 or
on
3, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And we basically, as an organization, we kind of coach other coaches on kind of movement principles, but a lot of it is based around using some strongman movements to build structure for things like CrossFit gyms. So
people would if we say sandbag, that probably clicks with a lot of people.
Yeah,
because
we do a lot of sandbags, a lot of weighted carries, kind of more functional stuff than just barbell stuff.
And is it a lot of CrossFit coaches that you're coaching, or not specifically though necessarily?
That's kind of what it started as. And now it's kind of expanding kind of beyond that, because everything we're doing fundamentally works. It is just movement and functionality within the body. But CrossFit, I think, had the greatest need. So that's where I would say still 80 to 90% of the people we interact with come from a CrossFit background. It's CrossFit gyms that are hosting all the seminars we do, for the most part. So
it's probably where the money is that as far as gyms go? Anyways,
Kind of, yeah. It's
you
tough
know,
to offer. I would assume it'd be tough to offer. There's a few gyms like that. Intelligent Strength in Vienna. They do lots of seminars and like educational products within their gym, which is rare.
Yeah.
Though it's rare to have a one that gym just is rare, but it's rare to have like a Globo gym or a bodybuilding or a powerlifting type gym that just has the client base and the money to be able to offer other programs like that. But yeah, so that's, I mean, I'll be doing all sorts of shit, but you can kind of follow that as things develop. But I've got like just a few weeks left. It's like less than 50 days
until you
before
get on
I
a plane.
Move. Yeah. One man, 2 checked bags, 1 carry-on bag.
So
and
is
a
that
purse.
all the stuff of yours or are you shipping any stuff
I'm
of yours?
I'm literally not shipping anything.
So you will have 2 checked bags.
Yep.
You know they charge
Well-
you like an extra $50 for that, don't
It's
you?
actually
You do know you're
because
allowed
I'm-
2 carry-on items.
I know. I got a
Personal item.
personal item with most of my weed. Yeah, but here's the problem with the personal item, guys. It's supposed to fit under the seat in front of you, but that's where my feet go. So what I do then?
Well, if you get
is
one of those big
also
first-class
sneak
seats,
it
though.
in my overhead compartment, say
Yeah.
fuck you, I put 2 things up there now.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I do it. But I'm not a very considerate traveler. I also take my shoes off on planes. Apparently, that's a thing people don't like.
I think that's good.
I just-
mean,
I
when
just
I've done
think
really
it's normal.
when I've done really long flights, they've like advised you before that that's a thing
you'll-
to do.
Yeah, so I've seen there's this Instagram page called Passenger Shaming, which most of it is really atrocious stuff. Like they're people's neighbors like peeing in cups and shit like that during the flight.
Yeah.
Or like people throwing up or just people being really gross. But one of them was like, and they post it kind of regularly. It's just like a person with their socks on. And I'm like, all right, fuck you, man. Like,
Unless you have some abnormal foot odor, I think it's okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have ever taken an overseas flight, but like not everybody smells the best anyways. So like my feet,
Nobody smells
Are
great
the
after
least
13
offensive.
hours on a plane.
yeah, like my armpits, I promise, smell worse than my feet. So
yeah.
and I usually will fly, like when I'm taking a deal like that, I will wear just my slippers, so there is no like brewing up funk from my tennis shoes.
Yep.
But they still got to come off.
Aren't you supposed to wear a suit on an airplane though?
I
Yeah,
always do.
it's like it's a privilege to be doing this.
I wear a bodysuit.
They don't call it business class
like
for
a
no
green
reason.
one with the face mask and everything. Yes, these are my business socks. But so actually, like we've moved out of this house, which you've probably seen enough of it on the podcast. When we were in the big sunroom, into the basement, into up here now
Patio.
The patio and then
Patios
out back.
existed,
Yeah. So this
yep.
house for us was like our dream house when I had a real job. Before I quit my real job to open the gym, which was not a real job, but paid a lot less, believe it or not. But so this house is huge, way bigger than we need, and then
There's a lot of rooms in this house.
very senseless.
There's some rooms that you might not even know you don't know what to name them.
Well, so literally, there technically would be, if I didn't have my bedroom in one of them in the basement, there would be 4 living rooms in this house.
Yeah.
And like one of them's mostly a fireplace living room, and one of them's
Well,
mostly
yeah.
a living room with windows, and
And
one
there's
of
an
them's-
office that's a good size. Like it's,
there's an
you know,
office. That
Yeah, you don't want to seem uncivilized.
No, and then the basement rec room, and then there's a formal living room, and then there's 2 dining rooms, and then there's where we used to record in the basement is technically like a bedroom-sized room.
Yeah.
And then there's still 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and it's like, fuck. And now this isn't because this isn't like Snoop Dogg's house. Like we live in South Dakota.
Yeah.
It's literally there are apartments in this house, in this town, that cost more than this house. But speaking of apartments, we're moving into one now. So we're moving out of all this space.
You have a big backyard, a really big backyard here
Not
too.
anymore, we don't. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
we do have a big backyard
Yeah.
here. But we're moving into I believe it's like a 350 square foot apartment. They consider it a 1.5 bedroom because one of the bedrooms doesn't quite count as a whole.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it bigger or smaller than the original Massenomics gym?
The entire place is probably comparably sized, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's smaller than the sunroom living room here. The whole apartment.
That's a really big room.
Yeah, the whole apartment is. So, like, the living room and the kitchen is, like, the same room.
Is it kind of like a mental game to prep you for Europe-sized things?
That is part of it. It's less for me than it is for my kid and also the dog.
Yeah.
Now, the dog's a very lazy animal. He's a couch dog, so it's not like we're being cruel having him in an apartment because he literally spends all day on a fucking sofa.
Yeah.
So, but we've been the problem with this new apartment though is it's actually a shithole. So, and I'm like, well, guys, and so my kid is certain that like this is a situation that has happened to us. He's like, did we become poor?
Dad, are we poor
He's
now?
actually asking, he's like, did we become poor? Yeah. And I was like, no, bud, we're doing this on purpose. He's like, ugh. But we sold him on it because like we'll still bring your Xbox when we move, and he's like, all right. And that was, I think, that was all it really took for him.
You're not that poor yet.
We're not that poor yet.
Your family's gonna get like a lot of bonding of like in this house you could be in different places and not even know that the other person is home almost.
Yeah.
But they're like you'll be
in that apartment. We are going to. There's only one toilet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys can tell from looking at me, but I shit huge.
You use a lot of toilet.
And so that will be very interesting. And then having neighbors and stuff like that, I'm not used to.
I think that would be one of the biggest
been like
ones.
10
is getting
years.
used to like neighbors.
Yeah, it's been like 10 years, 15 years since I've had neighbors.
And I don't know I live here, and I guess I don't know where it's at or what it looks like, but the way you're describing it, a lot of times if you live in an apartment like that, like some of the
Your
other
neighbors
people
aren't good.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. Like you don't luck out and get like
I don't want to take this. I don't want to take this to a racial place. But
Yes,
there's a lot of fresh immigrants that have moved over. So there's a lot of weird smells and cooking that I'm not used to in the hallways also. So it's an adventure.
But it's pretty short term though.
For me, it's tremendous. It's 5 weeks. It's not that big of a deal. But the wife and kid and dog are coming over like 3 months after I move. Because I got to get over there and get situated and then find a place.
With you gone, they'll have a lot more room at least.
At least, yeah, definitely. And that toilet thing won't be that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah.
So do you want to take us through the process of when someone decides to move? How do you shed everything? You got to have some insider tips on.
So the move. So it's funny actually the way it came up because the wife and I were talking about this as a potentiality, almost like a dream gig that would have came up, and we found out that Julian and them were moving to the Netherlands to set up kind of HQ over there, and we had been to there, and I was like, God, wouldn't that be sweet if like, a few years of this. Keep paying my dues and we'll get better at this and we'll kind of figure out what maybe I can find a way to like work for him and we could like go move overseas. That'd be the shit. It's like, yeah, that would be pretty cool. And one day Julian's like, well, you kind of need to just let us know. I want to know like what you want to do for us long term. And I was like,
whatever I can.
So I just emailed them this list of all these things thinking like, all right, maybe one or two of these will click. And he was like, yeah, that pretty much lines up with what I was thinking. So let's get on a call here in a few minutes. So I talked to him and Greg, and about 20-minute phone call, they're like, okay, let's come to Europe. And I'm like, and I was like, hold on, no. Because at this point, like, I'm sitting in my house full of shit, about to go to my job at the gym that I own. And like
you got to record the Massenomics podcast.
Podcast I got to do.
Weeks of podcasts.
And so I get to, and I was like, guys, you understand, like, when I hang up, if this is a thing,
put the wheels in motion.
I have to contact a realtor, and the house is going to get on the market. Once that happens, people are going to start asking questions, which means that my business partner needs to know I got to start getting buyout stuff done. If he doesn't want to buy me out, I got to try to find other potential buyers. We got to,
So the point was you can't just be fucking with me right now.
Is this what we're doing? I said, so what do I do now? Do I go forward and do all these things? And they're like, well, you might want to talk to your wife first. And I was like, well, and I actually didn't. That's the funny thing is I took the whole gig, not even because I just knew she was like, yes. So,
but you had talked about the general idea of
thinking though it was like a 5 to 6 year thing, But so then it was like, all right, let the realtor know. I actually had to go overseas for a couple weeks to kind of get a feel for things. And so once I did that, though, I had to let my business partner and then the gym members know, because you don't just disappear for 2 weeks to Europe.
Yeah.
Especially since I was just gone for a week, like 3 weeks prior. And then not have them be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, are you working?
Yeah.
So I kind of had to let all them know that that's what was going on, get that in place, and then listed the house to start accepting offers kind of when I got back. Then comes all the stuff, and so phase 1 was actually have a garage sale so I could afford to pay to go to Europe for a couple weeks. So I had to get rid of like all my tools as a heating and air conditioning guy first. So that was a nice chunk of change. And then all this all the stuff you definitely knew that we weren't going to need for the next couple of months. So and we just had a ton of shit because it doesn't get in the way when you have a big house. It just goes somewhere into a room.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we had a garage sale and that went fine. But like in the end, you guys saw it. Like I had a garage full of shit and I had a garage sale. When it was done, I still had a garage full of shit. Yeah. I mean, I had money, but it was still like
A ton of stuff.
felt like the same amount of stuff. And then I had to like start again, like the big stuff you don't want to just have in a garage sale. You don't have like big TV and lawnmowers, because then like
people aren't going there to drop a couple $100 typically.
Exactly, or more. So then you start selling that stuff on Facebook, like little Facebook,
Which is always really fun,
which
right?
is the absolute fucking worst thing in the world. I don't know. I'm sure people. Unfortunately, I had a few that were good. But I've also had some where it was like just the fucking worst.
Did you ever get any like really insulting offers on like
Some,
just where it's like that's not
yes.
even worth like
Yes. Or some where they're just fucking totally unreasonable too, where it's like you're asking something good and they want you to answer 100 questions, and it's like, how about at this price I don't answer questions.
Yeah.
You just want it or you don't.
You just want it or not. I don't give a shit. And so then they get to I had one person come to buy a fairly big ticket item, a large television, and then it's me and the wife here in the house, and then this lady's like, oh, you guys look like you work out and stuff.
Do you want to lift it for me?
She goes, have you ever heard of Herbalife? And I'm like, and all I did was like, yeah, I sure fucking have. Yeah. And you don't want to. She's like, well, they've been really good to me for the last 8 or 9 years. I'm looking at this person. I'm like, you are not in shape. Don't. I mean, that's not the metric of it, but 8 or 9 years of fucking eating well, apparently, like it doesn't show.
Supplementing to perfection.
Yeah, and then she's like, well, do you supplement? I'm like, no. And I didn't eat, and she was asking about the move and shit. I'm just trying to gloss over this to get the fuck out of my house. And then like, well, do the people you coach, because she didn't know about the gym, and thank God, because if she knew I had a gym with 100-some members, she would have been all fucking over it.
To skip to the end, you're now an Herbalife.
Now, you guys, I'm a Herbalife brand rep. Get yourself a starter pack for $2,500 and you can be an entrepreneur. Work from home, set your own hours.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
piss off all of your friends and annoy everyone on Facebook. And then so I was literally like, wouldn't even make eye contact with her. She's like, and I'm just like, yeah, no. She's like, well, you don't supplement at all. I'm like, no, I just eat food and things. What about? I'm like, no, yeah. And finally had to like get this person out of my house, but like. That's probably the worst one, because she had no idea. The one, I'm pretty educated as far as those things go, and secondly, that I just am so spiteful when it comes to that like it was not gonna fucking work.
But you bit your tongue for the most part.
I did not even engage because it wasn't gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like there's no way it was gonna go anywhere. So then I just talked about it on my podcast to all you guys. The worst, I worry a little bit about, like, my wife would sell some stuff if there's like creeps coming by, you know. But with the dog, at least like
they'd at least get licked if
they'd at least get brought a toy before they murdered anybody.
So yep.
But they don't know that he's big.
Yeah.
So then came phase 2, which is garage sale number 2. During my first garage sale, these people were telling me about this old guy that was getting divorced, who had to sell a bunch of his shit and sell his house. And he was having a garage sale the same day as my first one. What he did was his garage sale was a name your own price, put the money in the bucket, pay what's fair, take it and leave. He was in the house like drinking beer and watching TV. Didn't even talk to anybody. And I thought, that sounds tremendous.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, minus the staying in the house. I still was
Yeah.
drinking beer in the garage, but I had signs up like, pay what you think is fair. No offer will be refused.
Yeah.
Like, because this was all the extra. Plus, there was some more things, though, that I didn't need anymore, furniture and stuff like that. So all this stuff, if you came up to my garage sale, you just literally handed me what you wanted to pay, and then you left. And I didn't tell a single person no. And a couple people wanted to challenge me on that, and I took the good with the bad.
Yeah.
One guy's like, oh, you mean this miter chop saw here you'll take $10 for? And I'm like, put your money where your mouth is. Let's go. Takes out $10. Are you serious? I'm like, yep, here you go. Get the fuck out of here. It's like, don't test me. I'll fucking break it before I give it to you if you want to do this shit. And then, I had, but then you had a couple other people come up with some like, shit, you're not even trying, really.
They give you real money
I
for
would
it.
have taken this one item. I don't want to say what it is, but I would have taken $3 for it. And this lady comes, will we take $35 for this? And I'm like, yeah. I haven't told anyone no
Do
yet.
I have to give you something else too?
And so you take the good with the bad, and then after about 3 hours of that, it was like 11 a.m., and I realized that I had scheduled this thing until 3. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
So I drug everything out to the driveway. I got rid of a lot of stuff still, but it was all that was left now was big shit that you're just going to have to throw away. But big shit like fucking desks and dressers and more desks and fucking bikes and just big fucking China hutches and shit. Big, heavy, dumb shit.
Yeah.
That's so big you can't make it, like each one is probably its own trip to the landfill.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So all I could do really was drug it all to the driveway, shut the garage door, put a sign up that said, everything is free, no holds, don't call me, don't message me, don't knock on the door, just take it, first come, first serve, and leave. And then I posted that on Facebook, deleted the garage sale, posted that picture of everything and the driveway, and the address, and went inside to take a nap. My wife comes home from work 15 minutes later and goes, there is almost nothing left out front.
Really?
This is 15 minutes. Now, the thing is, this whole sale that was advertised in the newspaper, you could have got everything for $1 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But the word free, some people just cannot
They
get
can't.
enough
They
of.
cannot.
And it probably wasn't the most upstanding of individuals that were rifling through the stuff, but every single thing was gone. Everything. Everything except for one-inch barbell, like the long ones with the screw-on thing.
Yeah.
Because the screw-on thing was missing one of them. But that's the
Surprised somebody
only...
didn't take it.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Scrap it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's what I think. Someone would be like, "Oh,
there
this
was
is
like
a piece of metal."
4 bicycles that got
Yeah.
taken. They were all worth probably less than that thing. That worked less too.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was how I got rid of pretty much everything else. And now I'm down to just probably like 1 truckload of shit I'll have to throw away, and everything else is gonna move into the apartment.
What about all your clothes? Like you had to have way more clothes. Than
I
what you're
downsized
taking.
a lot of those the first garage sale. I just
But
kinda
don't
got
you
rid of
probably
them.
have like 100 T-shirts or something?
Probably, but I like them all.
Yeah. But so like, are you taking all the T-shirts or?
Listen, you sound like my fucking wife. That's okay.
But that's the problem. Like I have
Clothes
drawers
are,
full of T-shirts.
Clothes are
you
one
know?
though that I think it's everyone. Like you'll have like even someone that says I don't have any clothes has a couple hundred pieces between all of your shirts and everything.
Yeah.
But you only wear like
Oh, for sure.
I wear
it's
8
like
T-shirts.
It's like the ones that get on the top of the pile are just the
So
ones you
true.
wear. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
There's shirts I haven't worn that I like a lot that I haven't worn them in like a year and a half just because
It's like-
they're at the bottom.
well,
of
yeah,
the
that
store.
one's
Plus,
down
like,
like
plus,
so-
for real, like our standard of acceptable clothing now has changed in 2018. Like a T-shirt feeling like this is good. Like this one probably is not going to work for you going out for a night on the town.
No.
You know, that's a that
Yeah.
this is a no. I'm not making fun of Tommy shirt.
Yeah.
This material though, that's that's a bottom of the pile T-shirt.
Yeah, this is my work or this is my at home when I know no one's gonna see me or to the gym. Like that's
Yeah.
where this shirt gets worn.
Or when you're going to be on YouTube in front of
Yeah,
10,000 people. But that's I mean, I'm concerned about that kind of, except I also don't have much. Like I have maybe 2 pairs of ill-fitting dress pants, 2 pairs of jeans from when I was fat. Issue is those jeans probably weigh 10 pounds each from the amount of fabric.
Yeah.
But then that's it for pants. And then I've got probably like 5-6 pairs of public wearing shorts, and then everything else is gym shorts. Most of it's Lululemon, so it's light. And then I'm into my t-shirts, and that's
where the bulk is.
Well, and you're gonna have to get a new wardrobe so you look more.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
more,
to get some suspenders,
more
and
Dutch when you
some
get
cute
there.
hats,
You
some
don't want people
more Austrian.
You don't want people to think you're a foreigner when you go places.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably look pretty American when I'm there, I think. Because I'm getting an America tattoo on my face. But that has been, the clothes thing will be interesting, but that's basically all I'm taking is like, for real, my clothes, my like electronics, like computer, like anything I need for video and stuff like that. That's pretty much it.
The other interesting one you talked about is sending a pet overseas, and I never thought about the hoops that you have to go through with something like that.
Yeah. So, and it gets worse. If Fletch was a normal sized dog, this wouldn't be as big of a deal. But Fletch is about 160-pound Great Dane English Mastiff mix. So like you can't, like if you like where we're at in South Dakota, plenty of people fly in hunting dogs all the time.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But they're like labs that are 50 to 60 pounds, and you can't, a dog over 70 pounds, they won't put under the plane. And him, you wouldn't.
Did you ask him about the storage bins overhead?
Yeah, right. Him, like he just wouldn't fit in a crate that would fit under a plane.
Right.
So that's not an option. At least those planes, the planes that fly to here. Our first option was there's a company that transports like zoo animals and shit but Megan and Lincoln were going to have to drive him all the way to Miami.
It's just half.
Get on a boat.
No, I think they
plane.
fly, but they fly out of like a big like freight center or whatever. So like they fly out of there. It's a single route from there to Amsterdam, and then they'd have to get them on a train over there. But that was a fucking. Not sure how that was going to go. Then we found out that there's another service that will do it out of Minneapolis. So they can
that's not too
drive
bad,
to Minneapolis. They have to build a custom crate for him and put him in the shit. And apparently there's not a lot of flights that do it, but this one does. And then they fly him to Germany, and there they have a whole like pet layover center where they let him out and they feed him, they let him shit, let him run, and then they get him back on for his other plane, and then he'll fly into Austria. And then I'll pick them up.
So it's pretty cheap, though.
so it's pretty simple and cheap.
I know how just kenneling our dog for the weekend costs.
It's about $5,000 or $6,000 to get him over there, and that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to move a dog.
And then there's the shots. So like
European shots, or
apparently, yeah,
like
so
Jägermeister.
So they have to give him like he has to have certain shots here. He has to have like at least 60 days before he goes. Some has to be though within 8 days of when he leaves and shit. So there's this whole like schedule of vaccinations and shots.
You said, "Sorry, I'm not a vaxxer."
Yeah, be like, listen, I don't want him to get some sort of dog autism. But if you don't do that, then they like quarantine him over there, and him, that would fucking traumatize him forever. Like he would not be the same animal. We tried to go one night without him sleeping in our bed, and it was like I think it still fucks him up. Yeah. The thought
Still
of
has
that one
nightmares.
night. Yeah.
The PTSD is going hard still.
But getting him over there will be challenging logistically for my wife. Not my problem, because I'll be gone. And so she's kind of got to do, that's her last piece of all the X's and O's. Like that's before they leave. But, if you think about it, we're selling her car next month, and then we're just going to have my truck, and she'll drive that because it's winter here. But then she's got to sell that, kind of right before she leaves.
Yeah. Is she going to do the garage sale method where just name
give
your
it
price?
away. We'll just give it away.
Let me know what you're doing in that.
That's a nice truck.
I'd be interested in that. Would you seriously take $10 for this?
Well, fucking test me, Terry.
Well,
the tires
are a little rough, so.
But so that's logistically for her. That's a bit of a handful because she's got to get out of the apartment and so. But
what about the last of your stuff in the apartment? Then at that,
I think that all goes to the dump.
Okay.
So I think she'll probably move out for a few days into my folks' house, and they'll just haul out. But you got to remember, so guys, I told you the size of my house now. What we are taking into our apartment is 2 beds, 2 dressers, a love seat, a recliner, 2 TVs, and kitchen stuff. That's it. Like
Yeah, the basics.
towels.
Kind of like your college dorm
Yeah.
lifestyle.
I mean, yeah, it is slightly more than you would have if you moved to a dorm,
yeah.
Yeah.
and not a lot more.
Do they allow microwaves or?
They better. Fuck, I don't have a microwave that I can move now that I think about it.
Do you have is yours part of your range? Is it like built in here?
No.
Or?
Oh, this one is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks too because those are nice and they're fast.
Yeah.
And ones you buy at Walmart are
Don't have that same get up to
like
them.
if I'm gonna reheat
quite the
some
same
shit, it's like a
watts.
4-minute ordeal.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's like 30 seconds. I'm like, shit. Fuck, I think I overdid it. There's a fine balance somewhere between 20 and 30 seconds where it's
Yeah.
cold and then too hot to eat.
Molten lava.
Yeah. But that will be that transition is good because like we just have to get used to it. We're not going to have even if we lived here long term, we wouldn't stay in this house because it was like a wild overreaction. It was just bigger than what we need. But over there, we definitely are probably never going to live in a house with this much space. So it's like we just got to get used to it. But it's also interesting how small, still even in this small apartment, the shower is bigger and taller than anything that I had when I was in Europe.
Oh.
So apparently only small people shower overseas.
So that's what I've never understood is like you see the shows on TV and like Europe stuff, like kitchen and bathroom stuff always seems super undersized.
Yes.
And maybe it's just because we're so used to the American version of it, which is probably over the top, but
for sure.
Like seems to the point of like being small to like affects usability.
Absolutely. Here's the other thing about the toilets. Most of the toilets.
It's just a hole in the ground.
No, but it is an ineffective design. So when you sit on a toilet, an oval shaped toilet, right?
What if it's a
Toilet
round
seat.
bowl?
There are round ones, Tyler.
Still,
It's-
even if it's round,
Okay.
what the business you're doing all drops into the back.
Are they square in Europe? Is that the problem?
Yes.
The shape's all off.
But the business you're doing is all dropping into the back side of the toilet, right? The wall side, if you will,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Because of the rest of your stuff, right? I don't
Yep,
know how
yep.
how's your undercarriage shaped. Tommy? Similarly?
in these days and age, I can't talk about it.
You never take a mirror and just make sure everything's still in the right place. But so even though like the toilet's not full of water here in the U.S., you shit into the water, and then when you're done, obviously you clean up and then you flush it down. Here though, at least the ones that I've stayed in over there, the water and the hole in the toilet is in the front.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to sit and face the
I think so.
You're going
I think
the wrong
AC
way on it.
Slater is. Well, that way you can read off the back, right? Isn't that butters? But then you get so what happens is then the spot that you're shitting on is just this porcelain plate with no water.
That seems really unsanitary.
So it doesn't. The issue is the smell.
Yeah.
Because you're just shitting in the air. Like if your dog shit into a toilet bowl, like into water, it wouldn't smell near as bad as if he just shit on your floor. Yeah. You ever come home to a turd, even from your little dog, and you're just like, motherfucker.
Well, just when they go outside, it's like, why does that smell so bad?
But there it is, just in the air, right?
Yeah.
And so that you basically shit on a plate, and then you run water over the plate into the fucking drain, which is not going to work for the way I poo because it's just going to pile up into me. Or I got to eat less, which I'm not trying to do. So
it's that reverse. You need to come with that reverse sitting style.
I'm going to have to AC Slater it.
Wow, that's the most important thing I've learned in a long time.
Yeah. The rest, though, gas stations have beer, just not a great variety. Here, again, we're used to our gas stations have like liquor for sale in them too, which is this part of the country thing.
Yeah.
I think more than anything else. But as long as I can get cold beer.
What about food?
Meat was expensive, as far as I know.
What's the currency?
Euros. So pretty much everywhere in Europe is on the euro. So at least that's like reason. It's like one system I got to figure out. But here's what we got to talk about, guys. Though it's the metric system. Mm-hmm. Big fucking problem for
The
Tyler.
old thorn in the side.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to handle this.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to try to do is just get all of Europe to conform to the standard form of measurements now.
That's probably easier.
I'm just going to go over. I'm going to teach everybody. Be like, have you heard about our Lord and Savior, the pound?
Do they drive on the other side of the road there? Or?
No,
Okay.
no.
So,
I think just like the UK and Ireland and Australia drive on the other side.
So the that's no different.
And the steering wheel
seat is
and
on
the
the left side.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But I won't have a car. I don't plan on buying a car.
Oh, you'll have a truck though, right?
Just a big truck. Yeah, a big stupid truck that I can't fucking park anywhere.
You know, once you're a truck guy, it's kind of.
I was riding with somebody there, and this is I don't think I talked about this on the podcast, but we were trying to get somewhere to eat, and we're like in downtown Vienna, and we had trained that day, and all of a sudden my fucking tits started cramping, like awful pec cramps, and I sharpened, and then my lower abs start to cramp, and I'm in this
Like a smart car?
very small car. So I'm like, I can't do anything with, I'm like, MJ, I gotta lean back, and I'm trying to recline, and that wasn't working, and I'm trying to reach up to fucking stretch, because you can't, once your abs start cramping, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not even kidding. We were in evening traffic downtown, like in Vienna, in the city center, and we're at a stoplight, and I couldn't I got out of the fucking car and had no phone, no nothing. I just got out of the car and ran up to a fucking bus stop station and was like stretching out, and fortunately I got it done just before they started creeping away, because like they can't just sit there forever.
Yeah.
But then I ended up running them down, making them stop and let me back in. But like the car thing, like I can't even sit in a car without having to get out because I'm too big for it. So that's going to be a recurring issue for me, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should just fucking hydrate.
What do you think the most European thing you'll start doing once you go there? Do you think you'll start talking with like a French accent or something like that?
I think I should definitely go French with it right away. I'm going to eat the shit out of some bread. That's what I'm going to do when I'm over there.
Doesn't sound bad.
Bread is good. Everybody eats a lot of bread. One of the people that is there, I don't remember who it was, but was there an American coach, I think, was overseas there right now, and she got there. She said something along the lines of, "Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone's just skinny, and they just all eat bread all the time. Like I don't understand how that works here." But it's
not an American-sized portion, though, is the problem, right?
Well, I mean, they're big-ass things of bread. People just put meat on bread, and that's just what they do. It's different bread, though, But it is quite interesting, the amount of obese people here versus there. Maybe specifically where we live is a pretty high percentage. But, like, I bet I see in one trip to Walmart here a number of obese people that I did not see in 2 weeks when I was between Vienna and Holland. And there wasn't like,
They don't even
it's not
have
like
Herbalife there.
yeah, right. It's not like, and it's also not like I was just in gyms. You know what I mean? Like I did get out into the shit because I like to party, but that was, I thought is always surprising. And I've noticed that a few times when I go over there. I'm like, God, where's all the fat people?
Yeah, I don't feel home right now.
So I have a little theory, and I think it's because they kill them all over there.
Could be onto something there.
They're just snatching them up off the streets.
Yeah.
Could be it.
So I got to watch myself. But that's so that's the logistics of the move are all coming together. All I got to do now is get out of the house into the apartment, and I'm good to go.
Are you nervous about the whole thing at all, or just excited or anxious?
I'm excited, and now that I'm not working anymore, like I'm kind of ready to go.
Do something.
Now I'm like, oh Jesus, I don't do so well. Like I gave the way I thought it through is I was like, all right, I got X amount of weeks with no work, so one of two things is going to happen. I'm either going to get like my routine and my training and food just like really dialed in, or I'm going to party myself into an early grave.
Yeah.
And right now we're still in a gray area.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Anything's
go either
possible.
way.
Yeah, I mean, so right now I still can play both sides. We'll see which end I choose. But no, I'm not too nervous about like the whole situation, because now it is just like a burdensome amount of things. But
Yeah.
with the sale of the house and the business, like most of the variables beyond my control are now fallen into place.
Yeah. It's coming together.
And so now, like, I can go,
Yeah.
because it is like, what if I don't get any money for any of these things? What if the house doesn't sell, or my business partner is like, fuck you, I'll give you $50. but
Yeah.
you know, and then what do you do?
Right. Selling a house just normally like is a
I think about it. I'm like, that sounds really stressful. Like,
We were fortunate and unfortunate. Well, it worked out well in that we like had the house under contract in 3 days. There were some stipulations with the old buyer that kind of jammed some things up for a couple weeks, but it was just like an arbitrary time that had to pass. But so we were fortunate. I only had 3 days of showings to do, and it was like done, not having to drag the kid and the dog out of the house in the middle of summer.
yep.
And like hide somewhere for an hour and come back. So tired of cleaning the house up for strangers.
yeah.
So, I mean, except for you guys, I clean the house quite a bit when you
Well, yeah. It's a respect thing.
just after you leave. But that has been so that part went pretty well, actually, for the most part. That could have been a real stressful deal. But yeah, fortunately all that stuff fell into place, and I don't have to dick around with like forcing anything to happen.
Yeah.
Which is good. But now I'll just be a man and a backpack and a couple suitcases.
Are you gonna get one of those
the
sticks?
stick and,
I'm not
poking out
fucking homeless, guys. I'm unemployed. There's a difference. But yeah, I mean, and as far as like, for those of you that are obviously wiping tears from your eyes because you're going to miss me so much listening to this, we'll still be able to do. I won't be hosting the podcast regularly because of the logistics of that suck. And then like it ends up being such a shitty product. If you've ever listened to podcasts where they interview people via Skype, they're terrible.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. And then they'll delay. Okay, we're back. But where did I lose you at? And like, at best, the humor and the back and forth gets lost. So
Yeah, one person just has to talk. The Skype person can talk and go
when
on
they're
for a while.
done.
And then they're
so
done.
if it's just a point counterpoint
Yeah.
and it's not like a conversation, or if there's not anything entertaining that has to take place, then that can be done. But like for something to be funny, timing is important, and you can't fucking do that via Skype.
No.
You can't even really do that via a phone call. Like, you ever try to crack a joke with somebody on the phone anymore? It's just like, ugh, whatever, dude. What? I didn't get that. And so we're not going to try to do that because that'll make the podcast suck. But I will have some like unique opportunities and be around some pretty cool people. So you'll probably still see me from time to time. We'll drop something in that maybe I'll put together. But I won't like formally be like on the podcast all the time.
And your Instagram count isn't going away either.
No,
so,
no,
like,
no.
you know,
Not, I mean, not unless
Instagram hasn't banned that
not
thing
unless
yet.
I start sending a few too many inappropriate pictures out there. But
what would you say was your favorite ever Massenomics podcast?
oh man, that's a really. I actually honestly have not thought about this yet.
Yeah, with
Okay.
This being the 124th.
It's the 124 chicken nuggets I didn't have to.
Yeah, we should have done that. I'm a little sad we never did that.
What we'll do is when we get to 200, I'll just do a solo podcast. I'll do a solo podcast with
Just
200
you- just
chicken
you.
nuggets. Oh, well, guys, listen. It's getting pretty serious right now. It's actually not a terrible idea. God damn, I think that like I honestly like the interviews that we've got. I really, really, really like.
Yeah, because you got to take the show on the road a few times.
Yeah, so those are always good, and probably less so for what the podcast episodes turned into, but more for like kind of like the contact and like what has gone on from there. Like just look at like where we're at now, just like talking shit to Dan Bell on a regular basis, which is fun.
Yeah.
Or, you know, well, frankly, like the Julian thing, the whole gig I'm getting now is kind of because, not directly
Started
because,
in
but it
part because of
started
that,
because
Like
of that.
it's kind of like a dumb word to say, but it really is like networking.
Yeah.
Like
It really is, and that's why we do everything in person, because like even the interviews we do at the Arnold, like we could get all of those people via Skype probably if we asked.
Oh yeah,
And then-
but
Then if we see them in person, they're like, I don't know, who the fuck are you?
But
Like,
now
oh, you
those
talked to
people
us
are
one
like-
time. It's like,
yeah, now we run into any of the
Yeah.
outside of like Thor and a few of them that would be like,
Yeah.
still don't know you guys, but like
every year. Someday
Yeah.
he's going to remember us next year. Here's what we got to do.
you probably don't remember
Next
us.
next year we have to take our dicks out when we interview Thor. So that the next year he's
you
gonna
will
remember. Us.
remember.
Yeah. You fucking remember me now? But I would say probably I think just because of like the whole backstory around it would be the first time I interviewed Julian, just because that was an important one to me. That took a shit ton of legwork to make that work too.
That was in California, right?
Yep. And that was a whirlwind trip and all that stuff. We had three interviews that time, but that one was I did enjoy that one a lot. I really still liked Trevor's interview in Texas a lot, just because that was a cool story. And then now like he's out there competing and has videos with like millions and millions of views and shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see where that has gone. But still, like Jonah's podcast was fun. And that was like right away.
Yep.
Yeah, we've
Nick
had some.
Tylukis
The
was
Ty Lukey's one was a great one.
Yeah.
That was that was actually that probably honestly is probably one of the better conversational podcasts we've had.
Yeah, that one was cool.
Still. And that was early on too.
Yep.
First video podcast too.
Was
it
really?
was the first video. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. The more you know.
The more you know. I think, but still, like some of the ones we've had where it's just like us dicking around is still pretty funny.
Yeah.
When those are really good, the ones are, because if you guys don't know this, we don't put a whole lot of prep into this podcast, other than massive amounts of research. We have a team that does all that. So we just
the
get a
team
report.
does it. Yeah.
But we have there's been a lot of times where we sit down and we go, what are we going to talk about?
Mm-hmm. Like mostly.
And sometimes it's like, yeah, I heard about this week. Oh, cool. I heard about this.
We usually don't say no to anything because something is
Don't
more
have
than
any.
nothing. Yeah.
And Tanner would be like, well, I got this one thing that I did at work. I was like, all right, perfect. But more often than not, what we do then is go, oh, fuck. And so we go and we just will be like, all we need is a lead. Like, let's just start moving. So those ones, though, when it comes in from like, I have no idea what we're going to talk about for an hour, and then ends up being one, an entertaining hour to participate in, and two, one that was like, fuck, we actually where was all of this information when we were thinking about information?
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorites. So we get then we're like, guys, are we good at this?
Well, and it's like an hour goes by. It's like, oh, that's done already. Like
Yeah.
it just flies by too.
It does. Hours become days.
I don't think I'm going to get all these beers drank in this hour, guys.
Well, you only got 4 left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fall behind. If you guys have been watching the podcast for long enough, Tyler has a drinking problem.
It's just for show on the podcast.
It's just for
so.
show.
Yeah, he actually hates beer. So.
Yeah. Actually, yes. We do have, though, coming up, kind of our big last hoorah for me, which is the Strongman Showdown.
3 days away as we sit recording this right
Yeah.
now. We are only 3 days away from it.
Tanner is at peak stress.
Yes, that is true.
moving parts.
We had a last minute injury, so we had to swap some events out.
I am right in the middle of it where I'm like,
Why do
why?
I do
Yeah,
this?
like, but I am pretty confident that this year's is going to be really cool. This is going to be the coolest one we've done, and if it's not, I'll be disappointed because I'm pretty sure that it is going
This
to be.
is the year Rogue calls us and says, "How do you do it?"
I think as a competitor, this year is going to be and a spectator both. Like it's going to have a really cool feel. Like when you're out there, you're like, "Damn, this is like." I feel like it's gonna.
Who did these people used to work for that they know all these inside secrets?
Yeah,
we're getting bathrobes with our names on them.
We're not quite doing that, but it's like not a far cry from that. Honestly,
it's pretty legit.
Like I think for we kind of know what to expect. We've done it before, and we know it's getting a little better, and we know what we're planning and everything. But I think for some of these out of state guys that are coming to it, that have done a lot of other strongman competitions, they're going to come and be like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like
What connections do these guys have?
like what is this? This is why is it run like this? Like what?
I thought we were supposed to be like hidden
Oh
away.
yeah. When do
Yeah,
I
our
hang
moms
out and do
want-
nothing for 4 hours?
Why are all these people watching?
And cheering,
That-
pretending to pay attention.
That does make it almost a shame that it's not the full, for those guys, that it's not like the full strongman
That they don't do the
competition.
full thing, yeah.
But part of it is going, so they may feel like, God, I just came and did the one thing. But
Yeah.
it's like, part of it is also, though, that like, that's why this one will be so cool. It's 'cause
Right.
It's like, we feel so much less pressure to, nobody is coming into it going, oh, I gotta fucking win this.
Right.
Because if you are,
Right.
like, you're definitely a dick.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody is coming in going, I better fucking win this, or this is some bullshit.
Exactly. God, I'm really excited. I am really stressed and like, but everything's working out pretty good right
Well,
now.
and you'll
Like,
sleep
it's-
really good the night before too, right?
Oh God, that is like I actually haven't been sleeping good the last 2 nights. Like just like, there's so many things we've talked about it before, but it's like the list of things just to run like a
And-
simple
and
few hour event is just
Well, and with all this,
mind-numbing.
the worst part is like so much of it is out of your control. It was like
Yeah.
the same thing. Like I didn't have to deal with much of it, but like when Leah was planning the wedding, I didn't really start to feel the pressure until like a couple days before when she's like, "All right, this person has to do this, and they have to do this, and they have to do this," and it's like. A lot of these people, the only connection I had to them is I had a 5-minute phone call with them,
Yeah.
and they live in some other place.
Yeah.
And you got to trust a lot of people that they're going to hold up their end of the deal.
That's the truth too.
And then
like,
you're like, and then same thing with the wedding or with Tanner with a lot of these things is you're like, all right, so I need this person to do this. And you're like, but that person's not very reliable. Why are we even putting this on them? Which is why Tanner, I think, probably finds himself in this spot where he's like, I just have to do everything because everyone will fail me always.
I know who goes to the gym.
But we've had kind of letdowns from the fair board and stuff like that in the past that we hope are kind of sorted out.
I think we've got some
Did you
things
put the
ironed
hammer
out.
down on the seating?
I
That,
think
like we need motherfucking bleachers.
I think right now the seating is. I'm
Was
not gonna take it to the bank.
Would you say
but
the
I'm most
best it's
confident-
ever looked?
The best it's ever looked. The most confident I've ever been about the seating. If it doesn't pan out now, I am going to absolutely fucking flip my top on it. Like it would be.
like-
It would be.
because at this point
Like,
you're like,
I would-
we have had this conversation.
Yeah, I would stop being polite. Like it
How
would
hard
be-
is it for a guy to get a few hundred seats? You know,
I would raise my voice at that point. in time. Like it would have taken me 3 years.
and not just because that it didn't work out, but because they fucked it up for 2 years in a row. You're like, we very specifically discussed this.
Yes,
we
that's-
discussed every time like this is one of those moments where you sit down and you've gone like, okay, last year you said this and this didn't happen.
Yep.
The year before that you said this and this didn't happen. So I want you to remember this conversation right now that you said this, so that if you fuck this up in the
Yes,
future,
then I get the right.
I can then point
Yes.
to this
Yes.
conversation that we had right here now. Are you going to remember this conversation that we had at this time on this day? Is that
Yep.
correct? Yes. Okay. Let's move forward.
Yep, and that's what it's like.
'Cause
But
you-
but that
so
being
much
said,
hand-holding.
I feel like it is gonna
Good.
work out for the
Are
correct
we
side.
allowed to
But
sneak beer? 'Cause
I
once
don't
we're
know.
done, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I
tricky.
mean, technically, a flex flask can hold anything.
that's true.
And that works for me
What-
at the aquatic center every day.
You know, event 11 is the tug of war. What about
yeah,
event 12 this year, Tommy?
Event 12 is shaping up to be a pretty good one.
What do we got brewing for event 12?
My house.
Is that we're doing it again?
For those of you that don't know, it's a thing we like to use every year where we go one more event
12th
than
event?
one more event than the actual competition, and that's the party.
I might save myself the hassle of not getting a keg.
It's not a
But
bad
I also,
idea.
a lot of times, I kind of have that attitude every year. And then it gets done. I'm like, oh, I just want to party so bad. Nothing says party like a keg.
That's a good question. What is better? Because I think money-wise, you can almost buy more pounders, like more volume of beer. What's better, though, the keg or all the beer?
For me,
the cans.
I would rather have cans
Yeah.
than a keg.
But keg has a certain, like, I like drinking out of a can better than a keg, but a keg has a certain thing, like,
The thing that blew my mind last
You
year.
can't stand upside down on a can.
Yeah.
Right.
Drink it.
The thing that blew my mind last year is I think because people were a little beat up,
they didn't drink that much.
the keg was not finished, which absolutely blew my mind because
But so many people brought their own beer.
Yeah, they did. A lot of people brought their own beer.
Because you
Yeah.
got to figure if you're going to have this many meatheads, if we are just drinking a keg,
Oh yeah,
that
and
thing is gone.
Because that was
20
the debate.
minutes.
It's like, God, do I get 2 kegs right off the bat?
Yeah.
And then I was glad that didn't happen.
Also, it's
because-
partly an age thing because, like, when you're 20, you go and you're like, oh, I'm going to pay for that $5 cup and drink so much of his fucking beer.
But then you realize
Like-
that, like, well, we're
you're
going to
like,
go
well, I
to the
better
bar
bring
later,
yeah.
and at the bar, it's $5 for any beer.
Well, and you're like, I
So if I
better
get
bring some
2
of my own just in case, I don't know
Yeah.
what it's going to be like. I gotta
Yeah.
gotta be prepared. And event 12 will be better because people will not be so beat up.
Oh
Like,
yes, that's what I think. People
Yeah, it
will be
won't
like,
be The Walking Dead.
yeah,
Right.
people will be like way more like, hey, let's have a good time, not like I'm gonna die.
I think the whole day will have a really fun, fun vibe to it.
Now, in preparation for the 12th event, is there any sort of sobriety requirement for the tug of war?
I don't think so.
All right, good. Just want to get that out of the way. Another question about the tug of war. Tanner, have you done any research on how to do a tug of war to be good at it for the red team?
No.
Okay. Here's the deal. I think Tanner's lying, but I have not done any looking into that.
There is one very
Were you
simple
going to share that with me?
No, I'm not going to say it.
Man,
but
motherfucker, I got to Google it, and it's going to be the one
there's
thing.
just one, and I don't. There's just one thing, and like a common person would know it anyways. But
I'm going to
like,
Google it now so we can just get it out there.
so who do you think's going to win, the red team or the blue team?
I think the blue team's going to win.
I do think it's going to be really close, like all
across the events.
Yeah, I think I think the final score is going to be close too.
Honestly, though, the thing is one team could run away with it, and it still wouldn't mean that the teams weren't even.
Oh no,
No,
like
right.
One
It would
team
mean
would
like
just
one team,
barely
yeah,
win. a
one
bunch
team
of
could win
events.
3 events by 1 rep.
Yeah,
and
right.
have a decent lead.
I do really think it could come down to 6 if it was 6-6 at the end of it, I would not be surprised.
I would love that.
Like
It would just be really exciting if the
tug of war
tug of war mattered.
I like
That
to
would
look. I like whenever we're doing one or I'm in one. I always like to look at it and just like play it out in my head of what I think.
Yeah.
And I think if it went 6-6, I would not be surprised, and that would be
sweet.
really cool.
Yeah.
That would be really sweet. I'm
keeping my fingers crossed. I'm on the red team. I'm more interested in it being close than
Yeah.
the red team winning. Like,
do we have some sort of way to let the crowd know the score?
yeah, we have a scoreboard. Red flip
The
numbers
flaps,
and blue flip numbers.
like what you do
Like,
when you're
like
in
the
your
one.
eye.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're red and blue.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you buy those or borrow them?
I bought it. I just was.
Well, you'll use that never again.
Yeah, it was like $35, and it was because we were talking about the score thing, and I had
It is
some different
important.
ideas.
It is an important part, yeah.
And
Because
it'll
that was
be-
actually a big deal last year that people
Yeah.
actually enjoyed, even though it's still tough to get the X's and O's out of
Yeah.
it. But that once
But
people
we had a
kind of
scoreboard.
see the
Yeah.
standings last year, that mattered.
Yeah, so it'll be nice. It's relatively large, but
Card girls?
Leah was kind of the card girl last
could-
year.
that
I don't
could be
know.
arranged.
She's a married woman.
now. I don't know if that's a very good
So I got
idea.
nothing to worry about, right?
I just don't think it's a good idea. You said she's going to have to put a ring in her pocket.
Don't want her to get less tips.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that scoreboard will work pretty well. Most of the details, we've got the cowbells. That's
How many of those did you get?
we have 150 cowbells.
Holy shit.
Gonna bring the noise.
5
you-
blue ones and 145 red ones.
Are you giving those away?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's a market for people to even
Probably
paying
not,
$1 for it. And I want them out there because I want it to be loud.
Well, then people. The other what's really funny is the livestock is right next to us, so it will actually scare the shit out of the cows.
I think it'll be loud. Like if you get 150 people banging on those, like it'll make some noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will definitely draw a crowd.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
The budget for air horns just wasn't there this year, so you gotta settle for the next closest
The thing
thing.
about air horns is they could be disoriented,
Yeah.
especially if I'm in the middle of something like a 300-pound log.
Yeah.
I don't need to be like and dip. But I think, that's shaping up to be a really professional looking event.
I think so. We got a color guard again and a excellent national anthem singer. We got all that in place, and pretty fun bios of all the lifters that I'm really like. That's one of my favorite parts is listening to the MC read about all the people.
And he's got to get through it pretty quick now because he doesn't have us for all these events. So he kind of has to do it when he do the first announcements, and then basically.
Well, it's going to be when we've all come out at the very beginning.
Yeah.
It'll say they announce all the red team guys and all the blue, and they're just going to go like height and weight and name, and then like when it's before your event, you and Jacob I think will get up and stand on the big Massenomics boxes.
Oh, I gotcha.
And then he'll read each of your bios right before your event.
Get you on that pedestal.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. I really like that a lot.
So, and I don't know if you guys will stand facing the crowd or facing each other. You know,
Should probably face the crowd.
I think there'll be a little both going on.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, like
Yeah, me and Jake with our deep-seated hatred for each other.
But I have the biggest disadvantage there because I have to stand on that pedestal against Shane.
He's a master poser.
Yes, and you all know that Shane is going to be posing me
He's
down.
gonna bring
when
his top package out there. The complete package will be there.
That's our real event is the pose down like before.
I was actually looking at some of the pictures from post-competition last year, the one we have done at the gym now, and I got to looking at it and I was like, what's funny is the pictures of all of us flexing are the last ones that we take. And I'm always wondering, why do we even bother taking
The other ones?
which we're not
Because
all
you
flexing?
never see them. I actually
The flexing one is always so much better.
So this year, when we all gather to take
Yeah,
our
we'll
end
just
of
flex.
the everybody just flex now because this is what
we'll
we're
do
doing.
a few. We'll
Two
even do
different
like
poses.
2 different flexes,
Yeah.
you know, and instead of one non-flexing.
Everybody
'cause
go
like
double,
everyone
double
just
bicep.
stand there like this.
Yeah.
Now most muscular. But that will be, I'm really, really, really stoked.
Yeah.
And the nice thing for me with not having a job is I don't have to I can have a 3-day hangover.
Always one of the best parts.
Which is my favorite part about the strongman competition.
Any hangover
It's
I
just-
have is a
it's just-
3-day
It's just
hangover.
burning my Sunday. How was the wedding? Tommy's wedding hangover? Were you all right?
That was Sunday was a complete
shit show.
It was severe.
yeah, and I did not feel good until I woke up Monday morning and I was like, oh, thank God, I'm better.
See, I was passable on Sunday. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not too bad. I did shut it down a little early. It was like 11:30 when I went home, but I was like, I still went at it, and I was like, whew. And then Monday, that I was still coaching then. So that Monday, then I get up and go, and I didn't coach till 8:30. And I get up and I go in and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And they're like, I got a good night's sleep. And like, boy, it was a 2-day fucking banger for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I felt it too.
You didn't shit on the side of the road or
I did
anything on
not
the
do
way
any
home
of
for
that.
your wedding?
I did not do any of that.
Well, you got
So
something,
I'm not
something to
that.
look
I'm
forward
not that
to.
guy, at least.
Yeah, that guy must suck. But yeah, so I guess that kind of wraps it up
Yeah.
for me here formally.
We I mean it would be certainly be worth saying that we wouldn't obviously be where we're at if you weren't on the we
wouldn't have.
if
a
not for you
podcast.
there never would have been a podcast
No.
because if there would have been we'd have like 7 episodes in,
Maybe,
like
yeah.
I don't even know if we would have got that. I don't know if we would have got past
yeah.
the talking point.
Yeah.
I still think with everything that you guys were getting ready to do, I still think inevitably you would have ended up with a podcast.
But starting a podcast right now versus 2 years
ago.
Well, yes,
is
that's
much
a very
less
different
valuable.
game.
Isn't that crazy? And
Yeah.
but
And
we talked about that when we started. Like before we started, it was
Yeah.
like, guys, if we don't do it now, in a year, starting a podcast has way less value because everybody and their dog has one. And we said that 2 years ago.
If we could have done it 2 years earlier than what we
Then
did,
we'd
we'd
been
really
really in
have
front of
something.
it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But like right now, not to discourage other people from doing
No,
it, but
but
like
it's just
it
it's more
beats-
saturated.
Yeah,
So you still have to be, all the principles still apply. You got to be consistent. You got to be good, or as good as you can be, and then you got hopefully rise to the top.
yeah. But I would say we probably wouldn't have one.
I
like,
mean, I'd be really surprised if
we would talk
had
about it
anything
and
with
then
longevity.
Like when we talked about it with you, it's like, oh no, let's just do that now. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
can we? Is that a thing we can do just right? What do you mean let's do that now?
The way that I think when I do that works well in things like that. And it works really good in things like hey, let's move to Europe.
Yeah.
And so in the end you're like, yeah, Tyler's a real go-getter.
Yeah.
But it also creates some fucking like very compulsive behavior.
It leaves a
Maybe,
trail of
it's
things
not very
sometimes.
rewarding.
Pros and cons.
Like where it was just like, you want to go on a bender? Yes. But no, that was one of those things where it's like, well, we can just do it now. We should just do it now.
And then it's like, what do you mean? And then I'd be the opposite. I'd be like, I don't think we can just do it now. Like that doesn't work like that.
Well, we got to see how much this is going to cost.
How
I
expensive.
was like,
And you're
well,
like-
unfortunately,
and then you're
I had
like,
a
no,
job
I already
with
bought
money.
all the
I was
stuff.
like, yeah, I bought all the stuff. Let's go.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I guess
So-
we can do it now.
But so this is the last episode you'll see in the studio. Are we going
We're
to?
gonna tear
is
it
it
down,
going to the gym?
No,
Or
There might
New
be a
stu-
little intermediary
studio?
time, in
Yeah.
the gym. But yeah, I think
there'll ultimately be a new studio.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think we got a
Yeah.
new studio in the works.
Excellent.
But yeah, this is the last one you'll see in here. We're literally going to, you have to have these things out of your house. We're gonna get these out.
Literally, the computer and the TV
Yeah.
and this stuff will sit in here until I
Oh, I thought
upload
we
it.
got the computer. And
Oh,
the TV,
yeah, I want that
actually, too.
computer.
Computer's a real winner.
I really want that computer.
But I thought that was part of the price. New deal. But literally that'll sit in here until I edit and upload, and then this computer's getting closed and thrown in the garbage.
I think. So
Tanner's
this
like, I'm keeping that computer.
there's good value in that. This will come out.
Basically, the Monday after the strongman.
After the strongman. So I think the week that this comes out, there'll have to be like a series of funny Tyler posts to commemorate the, like the one with the tuba and or baritone,
What?
baritone maybe. What instrument
Your
did you
old
play in high school?
middle school picture.
Oh yeah, that one is pretty good.
yeah,
That one is pretty good. Here's the deal. My mom will hear this, I'm assuming, and she has. That isn't like
a whole
one photo.
portfolio
That isn't
of-
one photo.
It's
that
a it's
I
a
did.
shoot.
No. I did that a lot when I was young. I modeled band instruments for probably a few years. Right in the middle of starting about 2 or 3 years before my awkward phase and ending when it got too awkward for me to continue to be photographed. So that's the best.
Yeah.
The best time frame to get
Modeled
that stuff.
Maybe she'll do me
I
a
like
favor
that.
and send some of those
I'll
over.
ask
so
her
we-
I'll tell her to dig them up.
yeah.
They're so old that they are actually just photos.
Yeah, right. They're in one of those in the
Yeah. Like they used to have to cut them out with X-Acto knives and lay out the whole newsletter that way and then print them that way. But yeah, listen, guys, when you're this good looking, photo ops just come a knocking.
yeah.
But I guess this will be my last sign off for now. I think you'll still probably hear from me at some point in the future, just not on the regular or all that often. But it probably won't be the last time, but it's the last time officially. So
Will you ever come back to the United States again?
Yeah,
To be on,
yeah, probably.
then you can be on the podcast again.
yeah,
I
that'll
can
be great.
Interview you.
Yeah. Oh, fuck you guys. I'm not doing that shit. Big time, yeah. But but I want to say thanks to everybody who's been with us. Those of you who've been with us from the beginning, thank you the most. Those of you that are just with us today, thank you the second most. But thanks to everybody out there who's been supportive of everything we've done here. Thanks to Tanner, Tommy, Sean's, everybody. It's been a tremendously satisfying experience. And so cheers. I'm Tyler. You can follow me. You better follow me now at Tyler Effin Stone, because these motherfuckers are not going to say that at the end of every episode.
I'm really excited for next episode. We can start talking trash.
Guys, I'm
You're not
so
gonna.
glad.
You're not listening to these after this, right?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Free reign, baby.
It smells like armpits and stale beer. But no, follow me on Instagram at Tyler Effin Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone. Make sure you go to Facebook, like the Massenomics page there, Massenomics.com. At the store, you're going to find all of our cool shirts. I got the OG shirt. Tanner's got the lift hat. Tommy's not repping anything.
I have the underwear on. You can't see them though. So
The new hotness. Man thongs.
The Calvin Klein crossover.
Can we get Massenomics embroidered on the top
That'd be
of the
pretty
undies?
cool.
anything's possible.
What else do we got? YouTube.com/Massenomics. Subscribe to the page there. I've always wanted to do that. But I'm Tyler. Follow me on Instagram at Tyler F. and Stone. Tommy?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And Tanner?
The Massenomics Instagram at Massenomics.
All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. This is Tyler and the Massenomics Studio. This would be 3.0.
Yeah.
Signing out for good.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, Tyler.
Bye.
You just heard the Massenomics Podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.